morning, everyone. Today we have with us Miss Lia Luchetti. She works at the Department for Competitive Policies and Agri-Food Quality of Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry Policies. She is member of UNESCO Working Group of Ministry of Agriculture, and she is a senior official in charge of the application of the UNESCO Convention for the safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage. Today, she will tell us about the measures taken by the Ministry of Agriculture to safeguard Italy's intangible heritage. Thank you, Ms. Lia Luchetti. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank you to Unitel Sapienza, in particular to Professor Pierluigi Petrillo for the invitation. Yes, I'm a member of the UNESCO Working Group operating within the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Forestry Policies in Italy, with the particular task of supporting the administration in the process of reviewing and evaluating a nomination for submission in a UNESCO list and networks. The ministry is the competent national authority for the implementation of several UNESCO programs and conventions with specific regard to wine, to agro-silvo-pastoral landscape, agro-food tradition and practices, and creative cities for gastronomy. In Italy, for the implementation of the main convention of UNESCO culture sector, that is, of course, the 1972 World Heritage Convention and the 2003 Convention on Intangible Cultural Heritage, there are two inventories operating at the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry Policies. I would like to focus this presentation also with the help of a short explaining text, so in order to be clear and more precise as possible on this inventory system of the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Forestry Policy in Italy. So the two inventories are: the first is the Register of Historic Rural Landscape, Agricultural Practices and Traditional Knowledge. This register was established with Decree number 17017 of November 13 in the 2012 by the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Forestry Policies. That is the responsible body, of course. And the second one is the National Inventory of Italian Agri-Food Heritage. And this second inventory was established with Decree number 3424 on September 15 in the 2017 by the ministry. That is, of course, the responsible body also in this case. So I hereby want to provide a brief focus on each of these two inventories. The first one, the Register of Historic Rural Landscape, Agricultural Practices and Traditional Knowledge. The Decree number 17070 established at the Ministry a specific register of the intangible cultural heritage and also world heritage to identify and record the traditional rural landscape or those of historical interest and traditional practices and knowledge, giving to a specific national observatory the role of evaluating nomination form for the inclusion in this register. This responsibility is also in order to select within the framework of the work of the Italian National Commission for UNESCO the nomination for the national tentative list for the submission in the World Heritage and Intangible Cultural Heritage lists. This decree applies also for the Man and Biosphere program. So the number of elements included in this register are 31. As established by the decree, This register is updated every year upon request of local communities within September 30 by the submission of a specific form to identify the elements and to note the role of the local association and authorities, the bodies for its safeguarding and promotion, and also to identify the element in its rural context. This form requires several information such as name, type and description of traditional practice, geographic area of diffusion, tools and objects related to cultivars, varieties or local breeds, factors due to, for example, promoting, practicing and safeguarding initiative, association and public authorities, and also audiovisual materials. The inscription process is shared by the local communities and experts through technical meetings, interviews with the bearers, and with the support of high-level expertise of the National Observatory established by the Ministry in accordance with regions, Italian regions. So the communities, the responsible, the Research Institute, the Center of Expertise and bearers participate actively in the preparation of the nomination for this national inventory. The evaluation process lasts approximately 2 years. Similarly, if some elements have lost their original characteristics, the National Observatory provides for deletion of the elements from the register, and newly inscribed elements are included in the National Register and are published on the online database on the website. First of all, I want to share with you some information in conformity with Articles 11b and 12 of the Convention of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. The inventory records the viability of each element, the updating of the inventory. This updating reflects the current viability of elements included. The access to the inventory is, of course, facilitated, and the communities, groups, and also NGOs participate inclusively in the inventorying process. And then the inventory includes the practices and expression of all genders and respect the diversity of its EH and its practitioners, including the practices and the expression of all sectors of society and all regions. I want to share with you 2 examples for ECH list in elements described in the list. First, the case of the art of dry stone walling, knowledge and techniques included in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage representative list in the 2018, which recognized the value of this rural practice based on a multinational file submitted by Croatia, Cyprus, France, Greece, Italy, Slovenia, Spain, and Switzerland. In Italy, this element is identified and included with the Ministerial Decree number 12869 of May 2 in 2017 in the register of this historical rural landscape. In particular, the municipality of Valle Corsa in the Lazio region has submitted the nomination for the inscription of the terraced olive groves of Valle Corsa. The nomination area is located in the ancient Castrum Vallis Curse on the southwestern slopes of the Ausoni Mountains. And the observatory has inscribed this grove in the inventory unanimously because defines a rural landscape of historical interest that is among the most impressive in the Lazio region. Another example is the transhumance included in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage representative list in 2019, which recognized the value of this rural practice, the transhumance, of course, based on a multinational file submitted by Italy, Austria, and Greece. In Italy, this element is identified and includes with the ministerial decree number 24493 on September 18, 2017, in this register of historic rural landscape and also agricultural practice and traditional knowledge. With this reason, the concept of transhumance is complex and applies the knowledge and culture of using natural resources in a very sustainable way, with respect for the environment, for nature, animal, and human well-being. In this case, the communities from center and south of Italy, represented by the local action group Moligal, sent to the ministry in July in 2015 the request for this inscription of the element in this national register. And communities submitted a request following the format indicated by the decree, which is based on ECH 24, in order to identify the element with several information and audio-visual materials. With the submission of the request, a shared work between communities, local university, experts from the ministry began in order to better highlight relevant components of the element. And the inscription process, after technical meetings, after interviews to the beavers during 2016, and ended in 2017 with the inscription of the element with a very with an official ceremony held at the Ministry of Agriculture with the participation of communities and local beavers and practitioners. Then, among the rural landscapes listed in this inventory, in this register, and later inscribed in the World Heritage List, we can mention the vineyard landscape of Piedmont, Langherrero Monferrato, inscribed in 2014, and this rural landscape is located in the southern part of Piedmont, between the Po River and the Ligurian Apennines, and encompass the whole range of technical and economic processes relating to the wine growing and the wine making that has characterized the region for many centuries. And then Colline del Prosecco di Conegliano e Valdobbiadene, described in 2019. This rural landscape is located in northeastern Italy, and the property includes part of the wine growing landscape of the Prosecco wine production area in Veneto region. And the landscape in particular is characterized by hogback hills, called in Italian ciglioni, that are small plots of vines on narrow grassy terraces and forest, small village and farmland. So we can move to the National Inventory of Italian Agri-Food Heritage, the second inventory of the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Forestry Policies. And in this case, the decree number 3424 of 12 and 15 and 17, establishing the National Inventory of Italian Agri-Food Heritage, also called MIPAAF, and applies to the Intangible Cultural Heritage Convention in particular. As established by the ministerial decree, This inventory is updated every year upon request of local communities within March 15, and by a submission of a specific form to properly identify the element, also in this case with several information, for example, name, identification and definition of element, social and cultural value of the element, state of vitality of the element, possible dangers, safeguarding measures, and also, in this case, audiovisual materials. By March 15 of each year, so communities may apply nomination form to our Department of Competitive Policies, Agri-Food Quality, Fisheries and Ores, requesting the inclusion in the inventory according to this model that, of course, is published on the institutional website of the ministry and is attached to the decrees, the Annex A. On the basis of a proposal form, the department, with the support of UNESCO Working Group, and then the minister, by own decree, inscribed in the inventory the elements positively evaluated, or decides on the deletion, also in this case, of elements already inscribed, if the department established the condition for remaining in the inventory no longer exists. Furthermore, the minister, by July 30 of each year, shall identify the agri-food heritage of the year among the elements inscribed in this inventory. And the community that submitted the element may use the entry for all communication initiatives related to the safeguarding, the preservation, the enhancement of its agri-food heritage for the calendar year to which the designation refers. Moreover, the ministry shall safeguard and also enhance the value of the agri-food heritage designated in this way through specific communication activities implemented by the administration, also in agreement with the communities. And for example, in the weeks of Italian cuisine in the world, that is a specific activity promoted by our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as by any other useful promotion actions. So the element that is described in the list, if required, is presented by the Ministry to the Italian National Commission for UNESCO for the tentative list, for the submission in the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO. For this second type of register, we can mention the art of Neapolitan pizzaiolo, inscribed in the 2017 on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. For the art of Neapolitan pizzaiolo, the element was inscribed in the National Inventory of Italian Agri-Food Heritage by Decree number 3527 on September 9, 2017. And with this last case, I would like to conclude my presentation, which I hope has demonstrated how the two inventories operating at the Ministry of Agricultural, Food and Forestry policies composed an organized and articulate system of inventorying. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lia, for your participation to our initiative and your brilliant contribute. Thank you so much.